do a backflip. Think trip as I'm sipping, get a good grip. We talking life, strife, and think about the good times. When you fall from home, it can be non-stop. Or crack another can and let the bumping beat drop. At the Great Wall of China or a bus stop, grab a can, curb, and think about the good times. Van on the curb.
Mommy D taking us in for tonight's episode, eh?
Yeah. So it's episode 7 of Can on the Curb, and today we have an all-boys crew on the bed.
How's it?
So we've got Dunks joining us. Say hi.
Hello.
We've got Teensy Quibus over there.
What's up?
And we've got Ray as well.
I don't know.
And then it's me on the research tonight. Okay, so how have your week been, guys? Anything interesting?
Interesting wise, yeah. I mean, it was New Year's. We had a New Year's bash over here. Had a thick bubblers, right, Duncan?
Yeah.
How was yours, Ray?
No comment.
It was good, pretty quiet one. Since the New Year's event got canceled and we couldn't really decide what to do, we just kind of had some wine and stayed in.
Thanks,
that sounds
Dean.
fun. That
Thanks,
sounds fun
Dean.
to me.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, Dino.
Thanks, bro.
What a bummer.
So, how much wine did you drink, Ray? Enough to have a good time, or not too much? Bro?
Just a couple of glasses, nothing.
Nothing serious.
Yeah.
Nothing serious. What's that?
Yeah, no, we definitely had a serious night.
Yeah, no, we had a serious party going. I mean, it started off all chill and everything, but it
Quickly escalated, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fun times.
But I mean, it only happens once a year, right?
It
Yeah.
only happens once a year.
New Year's.
I fucking was shaking the whole day, bro. That's crazy, bro.
I know that kind of hangover. We've got the fucking
Anxiety.
this cerebral palsy.
The anxiety wasn't as bad as it's been before. Like, to be honest, I sometimes wake up from like very, very like fun nights, and then I have the worst anxiety. But I still remember everything that happened, so the anxiety was alright.
Okay.
But I was just like sugar depleted or over sugared.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was
glucose level was fucked.
Bro, it's those beers. You gotta be careful of those things. And the Rios.
Yeah, the Rios are
that's
the
a
killers.
Do we even have that back in South Africa?
A Rio, I don't think so. I've never seen.
I think we do. Let's check.
I've personally never seen one.
I mean, we do have Rio, but I don't know if we have
That Rio.
those. Because the Rios over here is funny because some of them have brandy, some of them have vodka, some of them have. So, like, it's not a specific thing. It's just like a brand name, and they just put whatever
Yeah, whatever.
ethanol they got
Yeah.
available.
We get different types, bro. So the ones that I normally drink are just like fruity vodka ones.
Is that in South Africa?
Yeah, like this one.
I've never
is
seen that.
in South Africa, but they say it's fizzy drinks.
It's a fizzy
I
public.
don't
I see
know.
Kane there, though.
Oh, may
Yeah,
I?
but that's a different
Like,
thing.
fucking love
some of
Kane,
the
bro.
roughest times. The second picture from
That
the
one.
left at the top. Yeah, that
Mainstay,
guy.
bro. Oh, that's one of my best friends.
Oh, that thing on a
That's
beach.
bad.
You just get sand all in your pee hole.
Yes, that's bro.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm
It's
a
rough.
trick back, bro. To save ourselves money, we decided to go to Macro and buy a fucking case of that. So we had 24 bottles of that.
What a bad decision that
And,
must have been.
Well, we finished it in like 4 days, bro, and it was fucked. Like I've never seen a group of friends around me literally fuck out like that, bro.
Do you
Yes.
have that, Ray? Macro?
No, we don't have macros. It's just like a liquor store.
No. It's like a wholesale. It's a wholesale.
Oh, so it's kind of like a Costco.
We're like a
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah,
yeah.
it would
Tesco's, they're kind of the
probably
same
be
shit.
like a
Yeah.
Costco thing.
It's cheap as fuck. It's just bulk buying, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Costco's and Sam's Club.
You know what the thing about macros in South Africa these days? They got proper meat.
I've never bought meat there.
Oh, they got good meat. They got good
They
cuts.
have good muffins, bro.
I've never done that there.
Oh, Sam's Club back home, this used to have like these really nice, they were like frozen chocolate covered Belgian waffles.
Ooh, that
Gluttonous.
sounds good.
Where's that place where everyone goes and gets like the pizzas and shit in America? Like you go for your shopping at wholesaling and then they buy like a pizza or like a big ass hot dog.
No, that's Costco.
Is that Costco? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because I always see shit like people. I saw this one guy doing one of those challenges where he eats one of those pizzas every day for like a month, just to save himself some cash. But I was like, wow, they're pretty big.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, they seem to have some really nice.
Sam's Club has their rotisserie chicken. That's what they're famous for.
I love a good old rotisserie
That's pick
chicken.
and pay.
You ever want to buy a whole? You ever want to eat a whole rotisserie chicken and feel a bit
Easy,
nauseated
dude.
afterwards?
Easy, dude.
Yeah.
Easy.
You just got to get it when it comes out, or else it just they put them in those.
Yeah, the plastic containers.
And in that low oven that just fucking depletes all the
Oh,
fluids
yeah.
from it.
Like the Sam's Club one does look better than Costco, to
Looks
be honest.
juicier,
Yeah, I'd say if you're gonna go to Costco, you get the hot dog because it's $1.50.
yeah.
If it's Sam's Club, it's the rotisserie chicken.
It does look good. Like that on a sandwich would be.
Oh no, you just eat it in the parking lot. The whole chicken, just
go to
no
town.
sauce. Yeah, just in your car, Sam's
Yeah.
Club rotisserie
Hogging
chicken.
out.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't seem expensive. $2.98. That's not bad. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
For
mean-
an entire chicken.
I used to get mine
Jesus.
from Spa, bro. Spa's for me has got the best rotisserie chicken in the world, bro. I mean, Pick and Pay honestly is
Pick and Pay is right,
jacking
good.
up, dude. But Spa.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Is this the latest prices
Yeah,
in
it's a
South Africa?
Machaya, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it gets
Let's
two,
look
so
at
they're
that
50
price,
rand a
man.
rotisserie chicken.
But still, though.
It's got to
Like-
be a fucking ginormous chicken.
I see another price there, any two for 170. Now that's
yeah, like
ridiculous.
160. That's crazy.
Yeah. How much is that in dollars? That's
What's the dollar
I think it's
rand
like 18,
ratio?
19. Let's check. I haven't seen it for a while.
USD. So 1 rand is about. Okay, so let's see. 160. So it's about $8 for 2 chickens.
That's pretty fucking expensive.
Costco's better.
more expensive than Sam's Club, mate.
Yeah, you gotta go to Sam's Club. Bro.
Yeah.
Get a rotisserie.
Yeah, so that's a bit crazy.
You know what? Like when chicken becomes expensive, you know your country's fucked.
Yeah, sure.
It's like universally, that's the cheapest. I mean, like how hard is it to find a chicken, dude?
Well, to be fair, if we go for a rainbow chicken, it's gonna be cheapest for you. Know what a rainbow chicken is?
Oh, mate, they just have them in fucking kennels and they pump Chris the
A
Burke.
rainbow chicken is a
And those things just reach maturity in 3 days, dude.
It's got like 8 different wings and legs. I mean, sorry if that's bad to say.
Yeah, so I mean, like, this is kind of how they keep them. They're
Yeah.
just being.
Just playing Aqua and
Just-
fucking Venga Boys and whatever.
I mean, that's
It's
most chicken in the U.S. So
Yeah.
So you get this, and then you get your free range. Yeah, everyone knows the free range. Yeah. They do make a good chicken polony though.
Usually it's just like.
No,
The
mine
frozen
is Simply
bags.
Chicken, dude. Simply Chicken is
Chicken's good.
the shit. I take it over ham, salami, like that cheese chicken loaf.
Yo, that's actually banging. Yeah,
That thing's fire, dude.
I still choose a French polony over it, but it is. I know what you're saying. It is really good, bro.
Was it this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing is
They're good.
beautiful.
so it's just like ground chicken then.
Yeah, but it tastes fucking fantastic,
Do
dude.
they put what kind of seasoning do they put in it?
I have no idea,
No
but
idea.
it works.
It's quite a lot of
A
seasoning.
pound of MSG. Just
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It fucking
probably.
works, dude. And you know what the thing is, like French bologna would give me heartburn. That would never, because that's like it tastes clean when you're eating it,
Yeah, for sure. It does. It does. Actually.
as opposed to the rainbow fucking pink French bologna.
I love
You
the
can
French
taste
bologna,
the
bro.
bone meal in that.
I love that, bro. Yo. I literally, you get these things and they're fat like this, bro. I used to just sit there and just eat one the whole day.
So in South Africa, we got something. They call it something else wherever. Some people call it a torpedo, but it's like basically a half a loaf of bread. They hollow it out and they put like French fries and pink bologna.
Or you
Yeah.
can get a Russian. Or you can get a Russian.
Yeah,
I like it with the
but the
Russian.
pink bologna one, you know,
It's the
fucking
classic.
literally hit rock bottom, dude.
Never, bro. Those are fucking slapper lunches, bro.
Yes, let's give you a hemorrhoid.
That's fine, bro. I'll have a hemorrhoid for that, bro.
Yeah, so that's it.
no, I mean that looks
There we
good. When you
No,
said
that's a Gatsby. That's a Gatsby.
Really? It's fries, bologna?
That's a Gatsby.
I don't know.
That's a Gatsby. Torpedo is like a half a loaf of bread. It's almost like a bunny chow, but it's got the chips and the bologna in there.
And these
Okay,
are like,
but like that's the idea.
that's the idea.
Yeah.
We call them slap chips, bro, because they're like not quite crispy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still like floppy
They're
chips.
like
Oh,
fish and
okay.
chips.
Yeah.
Chips, yeah.
A little bit of vinegar on it.
No, but that's a Gatsby. It's one of South Africa's most famous things, dude.
See, when you said torpedo, I thought I was. Then you started talking about it. That we have like a thing where it's kind of like a taquito, if you know what that is, and they serve them in gas stations, and they're just on the rollers all day in the U.S.
Is it meat?
keto.
I mean, there's meat in it.
Okay.
You don't know what
You don't
kind
even
of
know what's
meat.
in it, really.
So how would you spell that?
Just
What?
torpedo, just the same way you like
But you said it's a taquito, isn't it?
a taquito. Yeah,
Taquito. How do you spell taquito?
T-E?
TAQUITO. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Taquito.
Okay.
Learning something new every day.
Well, let's see.
Yeah. So it's like one of those, and then they just like kind of. It's crispy on the outside,
Oh,
and then they
okay.
just like put it on like the gas station rollers, like where the hot dogs go.
I do that.
I'll chow that. Sure.
Hmm.
It's got a crispy outside. No, those are cool.
Don't look too bad.
See, like we just mainly eat pies at
Yeah.
gas stations.
Yeah, like, that's our
like the
thing.
main thing.
Meat pies.
Pepper steak.
I think that's a big difference between South Africa and America is the pies, because they mostly do like sweet pies.
Yeah, our pies are
Sweet
generally
pies.
like
Yeah.
cherry pie, apple pie.
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
good pies, but these pies are
Oh,
banging, bro.
come on.
If you get a
Look at
fresh
that.
one, bro, the worst is if you get like a day older one, bro. They're not. You know.
No, I still kill it. Like Pieman's old pies, I don't
Oh,
give a shit,
Pieman's.
mate.
Mm.
I like a
Now
cheese burger,
that
bro.
is heartburn incarnation, man.
Yes.
I know, but it's so worth it, dude.
So if I can ask you guys then, what is the best like have you found like a good South African like pie place in China or anything that like
In China,
resembles
no.
it?
No.
The
No.
only pies they sell there are like Australian pies. The
Yeah.
one that I sent it to the group. That one makes pretty close pies.
Yeah.
They're not like they're just shaped different, bro. These ones are like a little bit deeper. That's why they call it an Australian pie because it's much deeper.
Have you ever had a pie when I make it?
It's good.
Right?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Would you make
mine
sausage
tastes.
rolls?
Yeah,
the
mine
sausage
tastes pretty much.
There is this WeChat group that sells like imported South African wines and stuff, and also like some other South African goodies. And they have actually started baking pies because the lady that runs the group and imports everything is actually from South Africa. But I haven't tried.
Well, the next time
They're
it's we need
pies,
to
yes.
get dinner, I'll organize them. I'll try and get them on a Thursday and then bring them over.
That'd
Sounds
be cool.
great.
I don't know. You'll maybe have to order them a bit earlier because
Yeah, I'll
it
try
takes
order
about
them on,
2
like-
days to arrive.
I'll try and get it on like a Tuesday and I'll just keep it in the freezer and we can just warm
Yeah.
them up. Yeah,
So then how do you find these WeChat groups? Is it just like a person knows a person and invites you?
Catherine. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of South Africans doing food. Like that John guy started a new. He started his own store now.
Hmm.
I bought a pekana from him the one time, and he imports his meat from South Africa. It is
Can't beat a pecan though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also like on Facebook, there are a lot of like South Africans in China or foreigners in China, you know, those kind of groups. And a lot of the people that import stuff or sell like specific things like South African food or whatever will advertise on those groups. And usually it will have the WeChat QR code that you can just scan with your WeChat and then you're added to the group. So it's pretty easy.
Denise and Catherine found all these amazing things, like nostalgic nibbles and shit. So I have no idea that stuff.
I don't care. I don't care too much because I make my own stuff. You know.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you. I feel you. But it's still, bro. I mean, once you have like nostalgic nibbles, like
Yeah.
I don't really want to be spending my whole afternoon making this. It's just easier. To
Yeah,
buy.
and
Yeah.
that place, their things are nice, especially the one lady.
Kind of enjoy the cooking.
Tumi, I think is her name. I can't remember.
Where did you get those last things that you gave to Kat and I, bro? Like those, I think they were cookies or brownies. I don't know, but whatever it was one of the most fucking
Sweet
delicious
treats or
things
something.
I've ever
What's that?
eaten before, bro.
Places the group's name is
It
Sweet
was
Treats or
nostalgic
something.
nibbles.
No, it was nostalgic nibbles. Yeah,
Yes, that's
but
right.
like there's 2 ladies on that group that bake, but I prefer the one lady's things because it's a
That
bit
African
more
chick.
the African
Yeah,
lady.
her stuff's so
Her
good.
stuff
dude.
is like more
what
South
we are
African. Yeah, like-
accustomed to.
yeah.
You'll have to send me the link for that.
Just,
Oh, that's
just
so
be careful, bro, because fucking
It's
hell,
addictive.
bro.
Oh, it's good.
I'm sure, but it's one of those
really-
things. Like I made all that stuff for Christmas, and I enjoyed doing it. But after you're done doing all the different batches of baking,
I got to give you
just-
props. I told him, like, that chocolate cookie of yours.
People were
Yeah.
frothing for it.
Dude,
People were frothing.
dude, I didn't want to finish it. I ate it, I compartmentalized it. I ate it for like fucking 3 days. It was so good. But I got to give that to you. Your baking is
It's
fucking...
really good.
It is top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how to bake shit. Your alchemy is
I
on
really
point.
enjoyed the bit of like spice that you added to the Rice Krispie thing.
Oh, your Rice Krispie treats were.
That was nice.
I didn't even have a fucking Rice Krispie.
No,
You
there
ate
was
it.
only one.
Yeah,
There was only one, bro.
And I
This is
don't
awesome
share
for me.
that.
Never.
I
dude.
don't
it was
share
like
that.
2 days of baking to do all those boxes. So maybe next time I can do
I
some
appreciate it a
smaller.
lot.
I can do like the same batches, but you know,
Or you could just send them to one of us. We can also help you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Just send us the
We
recipe.
can help
We'll
with
put
that.
it, bro.
Yeah,
This
you
is
can
a lot.
send me the fucking chocolate cookie recipe. I'll sell it.
you'll sell it.
I'll sell that
It was
fucking
good.
thing on the black market.
I only got Java back.
You know what? Those chocolate ones, they're not that hard to make. The most annoying part is that like when you make it, it's kind of like brownie batter. It's a little bit like you put it in the fridge to chill, but even after it's chilled, like you have to scoop it out, and it's kind of tacky. Like it will stick to your fingers,
and a bit
and you have to
chewy.
make it into like a ball shape to get the powdered sugar on it.
That's why it was so delicious, dude.
Yeah.
Because it was a mission.
Yeah, oh, it was.
I tasted a bit of your hand in there. I like
Yeah.
the flavor, bro. It was good.
It tastes a little bit of dirty bum hand.
I like the best hand, bro. So the real flavor comes.
That's the double fudge part.
How do you think India does so well with their food, bro? Everything's made
Yeah.
with hands.
All the
Oh,
extra flavor going in there.
I mean, they do really bad on certain fucking dishes. I can tell you that
I
much.
love watching videos on TikTok where Oaks are like pressing shit under their armpits.
So when he's gripping it with a big toe and he's
Yes,
cutting it with the
that's
other toe.
Sometimes you gotta make it work. Bro.
You know what, Duncan? What I want to hear from you is, how's it being back at school or being back at work at least after your big injury?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's been interesting, bro. I mean, the work part of it there—that's the Oak I'm talking about. Look at that, motherfucker.
Yeah, even that tits in there.
You gotta get the tip,
Papa
bro.
meat.
Papa meat.
That's what it says in the corner of that.
Yeah,
video.
it did. It
That's a
did. There we
perfect
go.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like going back
Is
to
that the
work,
Papa meat right there?
That is.
that is Papa Meat, bro.
Look at
Gotta
that
get
one.
under the arm there.
Yeah.
He's got one arm. He's
Gotta salt it with a
Yeah, that's how he's getting the salt in there. Yeah.
getting that preservative in there.
bro. But yeah, going back to work is like going back to any work, bro. You know, like you miss it, and then after you're there for an hour, you're like, fuck. It just
Yeah.
feels like I never left, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, walking around with an injury is always weird. I mean, it's not painful. Well, it wasn't painful for the first 2 days, but it feels hot. Like because it starts to swell and like
Yeah,
the heat
some
is-
inflammation.
That's kind of a thing that starts to bother me. But luckily, we have the 2-hour break. If we didn't have that, I think I'd struggle.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I kind of think if it were me in that position, worse than the actual physical injury would be the anxiety going along with it. With like you're in a foreign country, and you don't have a job, and you don't know like okay what's going to happen.
Yeah,
That's whole like you just don't have a clue what's going to happen after this. Am I still going to have a job? What's going to
yeah. So that part like didn't really bother me because obviously I'm still under a specific contract that says they have to find me a job. So if I was just with the school by myself, I would have felt more anxiety. You know, it's like such a weird thing when you're sitting at home for like 10 weeks. Your mind starts to do weird things. I wasn't anxious about the job. I was anxious about other things. Man. Like, how long is it actually going to take me to get back to work? But, yeah, it's all right, bro. I mean, like I say, I would say the hardest time of the injury was like 6 to the 8th week. Because that's when you're kind of like feeling isolated. That's definitely the hardest part. But yeah, going back to work's pretty like a normal thing, bro. I mean, people are weird, bro. They kind of forget that you're injured as well. So like, you know, they just expect you to be normal, but you're not. But the hardest part, I guess, is like your body's like my body's compensating, and all the places where it's compensating are fucking sore, like my knee and parts of my hips and my back. But the actual ankle injury is fine, which is kind of weird.
I think you touched on something good there too, is that like when you're thinking about jobs abroad, like you have a lot of employment agencies that obviously will hire you to go work at places, and you won't make as much as if you go like direct to the schools.
Yeah.
But you do get the benefit that like if something happens at the school or if this
You got
like,
a foot in the gate.
exactly that agency is your employer, not that school.
Yeah, they give you security.
So you have a bit more security.
Yeah. But these agencies you get in this place, dude, you gotta fucking be apprehensive. You gotta be.
It's a business, bro, and some people
Yeah.
do business badly. That's always
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
works,
yeah.
bro.
Well, I mean, like, well, it's kind of weird saying it coming from South Africa. It sounds a little bit, yeah, but this is kind of the birthplace of exploitation. I do feel in a way
Any job.
it
bro.
kind of is entrenched in the culture to a certain extent.
I agree.
So you shouldn't be shocked when you're being exploited, you know,
But to
or
be
when
fair,
somebody just treats you like a actual number, like a digit.
that's how businesses work, bro. I mean, unfortunately, like we all, you know, everyone wants to be or working for or says they're going to be the manager that like looks at an employee and is like blah blah blah. I like this person, I'm going to treat them really well. But at the end of the day, it's about making money, bro. And those people are just vessels that make you money.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier, Martin,
Yeah.
and that we all want to think that like we're special and we're irreplaceable, but like these are big corporations making a lot of money. And at the end of the day, like
How much do you influence the bottom line?
yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter if you're working abroad or if you're at home. Like
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like
not to get too negative here.
It sounds
like,
a little
but-
bit. It sounds a little
Yeah.
bit hypercritical when I talk about China like this, because I sincerely do think that that South Africa is more exploitative than China. I really do believe that. Like
Especially with their wages.
not just that. I mean, like just the whole fucking labor environment, dude. Like the way you get treated, the way you are approached, everything. Like I've had way better experience in the job markets in China than I've ever had in South Africa. And I used to be I started very low, like everybody does,
Yeah.
and I ended pretty high. And around the bank, I was treated like shit for most of the, but you know, sometimes you land a job with a good boss, but still, I do feel there's way more valid complaints in South Africa than there is over here, especially
Yeah.
if you're a foreigner.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, like I said, bro, if you're working for you do find places where you work for great people, but at the end of the
Very
day,
seldom.
very
far
seldom,
between,
yeah.
dude.
But like the security of working for a company is a great thing, especially like if you're gonna move to a country and you don't know anything about it and you really just want to try and secure a job. But also, I mean, securing a job with an agency is also not as easy as they set it out to be, because you come here and you have to demo for classes, which doesn't happen anywhere else in the ESL places. So like when we got a job in Vietnam, our job was there. When we got a job in Korea, our job was there. When we came here, they were like, cool, you work for our agency, but now you have to demo at schools. And if the schools don't like you, you go home. You know, so there is security if you land a job, but if you don't, there's also very little security.
But you know what? It's very hard for a school not to like you. You really have to fucking try and
Remember, a lot of people
be bad.
A lot of people
But I
coming
think-
have never taught or never had training or never had expectations.
Well,
Yeah.
this goes to what we spoke before about it being a face culture, in that you are very lucky when you come here and you look different. I think if you're going to be a Chinese person or a Chinese looking person from abroad finding a job here, you're going to have way more challenges. But when you're just white walking in there, you literally like white privilege, but over here you have black privilege, you have every other privilege apart from being an Asian. Because if you're here and you look different, you're a curiosity.
Yeah.
You've already got a foot in the door.
I mean, management, you're right, but you do have times where the management of a school can be fickle. And I've had, like, with the school I'm working with, like, I have had them ask me about, like, different people who demoed in my class and, like, how I thought about their teaching skills. And so I would just talk about, like, how I thought they were, how they interacted with the kids. And then they'd be like, well, what did you think about their accent?
I didn't notice
And
it.
it's like, you know, these are people from the
Different parts
US,
of
the
the
UK,
world,
yeah,
yeah.
all different parts of the world. And it's like, well, yeah, it's like, it is an accent. And they'll be like, well, it doesn't sound like your accent or this other teacher's accent. And it's like, well, no, there are different accents in different parts of the same country.
Yeah. Of course, here and there you do find, but like that same person who might not get a job at your school walks into the next one and they desperately need somebody right now because the job market is that way.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot have a vacant position for too long or you lose money. And he's just going to walk in there irrespective of what his accent is like, which bad habits he... Because that's the kind of way business works in China. Like, it's an ever-moving fucking machine. Like, it doesn't stop. So I always tell people when they think about coming here and they're like, oh, but what if I don't get in? I'm like, get that out of your mind, all right? If you want to get a job over here, if you've got that drive to get a job, you're going to get a job.
Yeah.
Like, it's because most people in South Africa, I can only speak to South Africa because that's the only other place I've ever had a job, would be like, okay, it's very competitive to get a job. Where over here, I'm sorry, it's not.
It is becoming.
You might have a couple of interviews, yeah, but you're probably going to get one.
It is becoming more competitive, though, and becoming a bit more difficult to find, I would say, a decent job with like good benefits and, you know, all of that. But again, you just need to keep searching.
But remember
like,
one
keep
thing, Denise,
looking.
you're talking about our perspective coming from being in this industry now for what, 7-8 years already.
Yeah, that's
and the kind
true.
of things we're looking for is not the kind of thing a person
That
would
is
look
true.
for when he comes to China. Like when we came to China, we came here with a very basic salary. That salary level, you're going to get a job. Like
Yeah,
any
because,
place would
like-
hire you, even if you don't have a good accent, even if you don't look very good, even if you don't teach very good, if the price is low enough, they're going to take you over somebody else who's going to ask 10, 20 more than you.
So like
Well, no,
over here,
Because they're going to make more money off it.
this picture is 2024 stats, and like in Shenzhen where we are, they say like the low or the average monthly salary is about 12,000 RMB.
There we go.
And I mean, that would be your base salary.
And
they
that's
would-
not where we fall in, which is why it's harder to
Yeah.
find jobs now.
But for somebody just coming into China, this would be like your base salary, and they would also add things like your housing allowance and, you know, stuff like that as well. So if you're like an inexperienced teacher and this would be your first job, you would look at like 14 or 16 minimum.
Which is still plenty, by the way.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
No, yeah,
It's
my
still
first
plenty.
job, I was right around that average mark.
us
Like,
as well.
It's still
Exactly the
plenty,
same,
bro.
yeah.
I mean, still a lot. Like, you can live very comfortably here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With that salary.
Yeah, so I mean 14,000 RMB would be equivalent to like 35, almost 36,000 a month.
Which is a fucking amazing salary
Yeah.
in South
Yeah,
Africa.
and if you're just one person looking to rent like a studio apartment or something,
And then as well, we got to talk about the growth because that's a very big factor. Like how fast you go up the ladder of
Yeah.
salary scales over here as opposed to your country where you are from. It's just unmatched. Like the way you jump the levels over here, we can all attest to that, can we not?
yeah,
Like you just go up so quick. If you do your work, obviously, and if you deliver and, you know, you're showing them, okay, well, I'm worth this.
Yeah.
In my country specifically, you can work your ass off. You can be the best employee in the world. You're just going to get that fucking 10% that's in your contract. And you're going to say, okay, well, you know what? Then I'm going to leave. They're going to be like, well, there's a queue of people waiting for
Yeah.
you. Where over here, if you're going to say, well, that's not enough for me and I'm going to leave, they probably rather stick with a safe bet.
Yeah.
negotiate a
Yeah.
bit as well.
Remember, business is all not. It's not necessarily about how good you are at your job. It's the same in being in SA and being here, bro. It's about how good you are with people, especially your management.
Mm.
That's really where things work. Like a lot of people do come to China and they say no to a lot, or they go
Yeah.
to anywhere and they say no, and they're just not willing to put in the hard work.
Mm.
But with that, they also have like an attitude about work.
Mm.
It's very important to like let in any business and any manager, you got to brown nose just a tiny bit, not too much that it's actually like
Yeah,
a
you know what?
negative thing.
I wouldn't even call it brown nose, really, Duncan, because I do think you just need to show you are grateful.
Yeah, be nice.
That monicum of fucking gratitude goes a very, very long way because you don't see it often.
And
It's
also
true,
just be a team player. Like
yeah,
if you
that's
just
a big thing.
Yeah.
cooperate with like your teachers or your management or whatever,
Yeah.
it also helps a lot. I mean, you can still have like your boundaries, your limits, and say no to stuff, but you have to kind of think about what you're saying no to.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that's in your job scope, maybe think twice about saying no.
And if you're going to say
especially
no,
if it's-
do it in a professional manner.
Yeah.
Sorry
Don't
to
have an
interrupt you
attitude
guys.
about it.
D, do you mind just hitting the record button again? Sorry to interrupt that.
That's all right.
But yeah, I mean, it's the same as like working at a bank, bro. You'll always find some fucking oak that does a shitty job that always gets a promotion because it's not necessarily about how well you do your job. It's about how well you know or how well you get along with people. Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very like if you're really good at your job and you can handle people, you'll always succeed. But
Yeah, and I mean, especially over here in China, the education system is very like people orientated because not only are you working with your students every day and like your management team, but you also have a lot of open classes and demos and stuff where you have to interact with parents or prospective students, like which is basically customers for a business. So having those people skills, it really helps a lot.
Yeah, and being able to sell.
Yeah.
being able to solve it,
Being
that's a
able to
big
sell.
thing.
Yeah, because the demos, if you do good in demos,
You'll
I'm going to
fly.
say you're in.
Oh yeah,
Go in.
if you can kill a demo, like
Yeah.
they're gonna want you, and then it's just how well can you cheese up the management.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
the easiest
Yeah.
thing, bro. Make sure your demo's the highest points, bro.
And to be honest, that's why I never say no to them. I mean, Ray, you can maybe remember that very first demo that I went to. That was like it was like a function they had somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Where I
yeah.
came back and it was like I had job offers. I went there. Nobody else wanted to go. It wasn't even my turn to go.
Yeah.
I think nobody else wanted to go, and I was like, "Oh fuck it, I'll go." Like it was an event or something, and I'm like, "Oh, I might as well see something." And I came back. I think actually it might have been Dean's turn to go or somebody. And I came back, and I came back with a couple of job offers.
It's just how it works, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you know how to demo, especially here, you really are. You just in. Because I've watched people's demos, bro. And I can tell you, even being in the management team in like Vietnam, you can tell a lot from somebody's demo. Because like instantly you can just see if someone's like unconfident or scared or they can't think of things on the fly.
Yeah.
It's difficult because it depends where you are. Like in Vietnam, there's a lot of training involved. That's their whole thing. It's like, let's train you to be a good teacher. But in Korea and China, they expect you to be trained. That no one's going to sit there and be like, I'm going to waste 2 months of my like career to train you.
Yeah.
So you got to know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you just got to fake it till you make it. And just fucking
But that's
make a
my
plan,
secret,
bro.
dude. That's my secret. Just act confident.
Just that confidence.
Just act confident.
The kids respond to confidence as well.
Yeah, nothing's rocket science. You're not fucking curing
But also,
cancer. You're not
Like a
landing
big
on the moon.
a
Yeah.
big part of being a teacher is reading your students and reading the room.
Yeah.
Because you can plan a lesson perfectly, like all your activities, your materials, everything, but you're working with kids. In the end, you can never really predict how the kids will react or what they might do. So you need to be able to like improvise and just adjust
Yep.
according to how the kids are reacting.
Oh, adjustments. If you in a place like China, you got to be able to adjust on the fly because things just happen in
Yeah.
the nick of time.
Yeah, and I mean, we
Yeah.
spoke about that in the previous episode as well, where we said things are constantly changing in the work environment and policies and everything. But the same goes for your classroom.
Don't take shit personally, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
People
big thing.
take
We
shit
also
so
spoke about
Yeah,
that. We spoke about that earlier.
Don't
Yeah,
take anything personally.
it's just business,
It's just
mate.
business. Man.
And like I told Ray a little bit earlier, like those people offending you aren't gonna give whatever offended you a second thought.
It's not
Yeah.
a chance.
Like it's not going to bother them going home, mate. They forgot about it as soon as it happened, and you're going to let it fester, and you're going to let it ruin your experience because this is an experience, and it should be a positive one.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do this forever. Trust me. It's a fucking very small window period of time. Like you need to find a way to make it positive. And negative things will always happen. You got to roll with punches. And this is not only applicable to China. This is applicable to life. Like, fuck it. People just obsess over nonsense at the end of the day because you do wake up the next day and guess what? Sun's gonna fucking come up. You know, life's gonna go on. And if you're not sitting with your ass in prison or in jail, it's okay, dude.
Well, it's
It's
all
okay.
about perspective at the end of the day. Like, we have this little like corner outside the school that we sit at. And before, like, we would just sit on the ground and it was kind of dirty, or like we would just stand against the wall. But then they added these like little white chairs, and then we
nice.
always sit in the chairs, and we always say how nice they are. They have chairs like that in our school, and we're always bitching about them because they're so small and they hurt your back. But yet, when they're in the smoker's corner,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, mate, this is great. This is such a welcome addition. But because in the school,
That's a very good. That's
In
a
the
very good
classroom.
and
point
it's
you're
like
making,
they're the exact same height. The white chairs might actually be smaller, but it's perspective.
You know,
They-
it's perspective and it's entitlement, I do think.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're now explaining about something that you feel you're entitled to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working hard. Like, how do you treat me? Like, fucking man, it's a place to rest your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't actually be resting too much.
Yeah.
You're doing work.
Yeah.
And also, like, negativity is an actual disease, but it's like a plague in the workplace. But I don't think people really realize that you coming to work and being negative really affects everything and
Yeah.
everyone. And it literally starts. I've been watching it make people around us negative,
Yeah,
and I'm always like, I
you
wonder.
contract it now, bro.
It is. It's like a disease, bro. And then you also start bitching about things, and before you know it, you're all fucking complaining about crap that doesn't matter, like the chair you sit on. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's
Anyways,
wild.
we are
Energy,
a
my
few
bro.
minutes over the half
Yeah,
minute mark.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, be back in a minute.
Yeah.
On the curve.
Okay. Everybody's back, and we've also got the lovely cat joining us for the second half,
Thank God.
looking as beautiful as ever.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so we spoke a bit about like jobs and stuff in Shenzhen and salaries and things like that. So I was thinking maybe we could talk about how you kind of settled in the first time you came over to China.
Yeah.
Like things that maybe helped you to settle in, stuff like that. And also just living in Shenzhen in general, because we've lived in, like me and Martin have lived in quite a few districts in Shenzhen, but every district is very different. So we'd like to hear like your opinions about it as well.
Yeah. Can I also just say that, like, this is our third Asian country. And I mean, it's always hard, but China was the hardest.
Yeah.
Like, the adjustment and the settling in as a foreigner is difficult here, because suddenly all of your tools are not available to you anymore. Whereas like in Vietnam and South Korea, you can still use Google. You can still use all the social media apps. You can use the
Yeah.
internet. Google Maps is still a thing that people use in those countries. So you can find things. You can look up things. But here, how do you look up things? How do you like search on the internet where to go or what to do? Because
Fuck yeah.
it's not going to be on Google.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the Chinese one, which doesn't help us.
To add on to what you're saying, it was definitely the biggest transition. But once you figure it out, it's been the easiest
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
So it's
convenient.
convenient. So
Convenient.
it's like a bit of a catch-22. It was really difficult to adjust without a VPN. But once you get the VPN, once you get Mates on, once you get WeChat, once you get your bank card,
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally the easiest
Taobao.
fucking thing
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first fucking week, we were just shell-shocked.
Oh, I'll never forget us trying to navigate just to the nearest fucking.
McDonald's.
Or no, even worse than that. Like, we landed and all we wanted was coffee, and there wasn't any fucking kettle. There was nothing in the hotel room we had.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's just find a supermarket, something that we can buy a kettle.
Yeah.
And it was pouring rain, and we were battling with Google Maps, and it just it was raining so hard you could barely look in front of you.
I
Yeah.
would have skipped out on the kettle.
No, we found the fucking kettle. Let me tell you that we found that.
Yeah. Eventually, we managed with Google Maps to find a Walmart,
Yeah, it
I
was
think.
a Walmart. Yeah.
And then we could get like another blanket because the hotel blankets were shitty. We could get a kettle, we could get coffee, some mugs, just the basics
talk
to
about
get us
mold.
through it.
That first hotel they set us up with, dude.
It was rough. It was
My
rough.
eyesight got worse in 3 days. Like,
And,
it
like,
was rough.
The AC, when you turned it on, you could literally like smell that moldy smell, and it just made your nose and your chest feel all weird.
Oh, it's horrible.
It was horrible.
It's a treasured moment, though.
And
Also,
sorry, Kat, that time the hotel was in Huashang Bay,
Yeah.
and Martin went back recently, and he said it's not as bad now. But
it's much
back then, the smell in that place was just
gutter oil.
assaulting all of your senses. Like, it's almost you could taste
gutter
the
oil, you smelled
smell.
it before.
It was horrible.
yeah. The other thing I was going to say was that for a lot of teachers, if you're arriving in February, you'll usually be arriving during Chinese New Year, where so many places are closed.
Yeah.
So we arrived during this Chinese New Year, and we would walk around and like all the shops were closed. And we found a really amazing convenience store close to us, like a little supermarket that had everything we needed, kettles and pillows and extra blankets, all of that. But we saw it open the one day, and then for like the next day for
3 weeks.
like, yeah, more than a week, 10 days, it was just closed. And we would go and look every day and be like, is it open today?
Nope.
Is it open today? No.
We just wanted a fucking mattress topper, bro.
Yeah.
These fucking rocks that they call beds
And
here.
pillows.
Comfortable fucking things on
Oh,
the planet.
And no one told us that you can order that stuff on Made to One. Like, if someone had just said, hey, you can get
Yeah, but you
literally
don't know that.
anything.
That was
Yeah.
our mattress fucking, that was Catherine's mattress topper for those 10 days. Bro. There's a big puffy jacket there that you can't see. That was literally what Catherine was
Take a
using
photo,
to
take a
survive.
photo.
I slept on jackets. I'll
Take
do
a
it
photo
on
after
here.
the podcast. You can add that anytime, you know what I'm saying?
I think
Yeah.
I had a bit of a unique a couple unique circumstances because this was my first time like moving abroad. I came on my own, and I also came during COVID, so that came with its own like mixed bag of things. So
Yeah.
like part of it was like getting used to like the culture and life and dealing with like the lockdown because it was still under COVID lockdown when I came in. I had some people I was talking to who were like on the flight with me and onboarding with the same company. And the company, so I worked with EF, and I will say this to their benefit, like their pay is really low, and you'll see that a lot online. People will post about it and say, oh, their pay structure isn't great, and they work you a lot, and you don't get a lot of holidays off.
That's every single teaching center.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, it is. But one thing they excel at is making sure you are settled in and you have the resources you
To be
need.
fair, Web did that
That's
as
a
well.
great thing.
Yeah.
Did that.
Yeah, that was a really good thing that they did. And since I came in during COVID, one of the actual like really good things that helps with the transition is I spent the first 5 weeks just kind of getting used to China. For 2 weeks, I was in a hotel room that I could get water and I got 3 meals a day, but other than that, I couldn't leave that room. So it's like I was watching stuff like shows that I had brought on a hard drive, but like I couldn't choose my food. I couldn't order Meituan. I couldn't pick anything. They didn't have any meal selection. You're just in quarantine. So you have to eat the Chinese food or you're not going to eat.
Yeah.
So that
And it was
gets you used
pretty
to it.
rough, probably.
You know what? Actually, it wasn't that bad. I would say like probably like a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Really?
Like,
Which for me is a rough one.
Bro,
Yeah.
my fucking
I need
quarantine
an
experience was a negative 12, bro. Fucking hell. You open the window and it's a fucking wall, bro.
We didn't get windows.
It was the most ridiculous. They fucking put these window frames on, but open and it's just a wall, bro.
We spent
Oh my
15
God.
We
days
weren't even
in a
allowed
closed
together.
room. Yeah, not even allowed together
Where was that?
in Vietnam.
Oh, that
In
sounds
Hanoi.
I
horrible.
was
So
smoking.
you two couldn't even be close together.
We were
No.
married now.
For how long?
For 15 hours.
15
Because you
days.
weren't married.
Yeah.
Shit.
Fucking hell, bro. No smoking, no nothing, bro. I was literally. I bought this vape like 3 years before. And the thing was fucking rusty and gross. I was pumping the fuck out of that thing, bro. So I couldn't smoke. It was the worst thing ever. It was a tiny room, bro. It might have even been smaller than this one.
It wasn't that small. It was decently sized.
Let me tell you, bro. It was not. Maybe for you, bro. I'm fucking big. It's different, bro.
But we used to like try and come out at the same time when we picked up our food just so we could be like, hi.
And the food was ass, bro. Absolute ass. Like, really ass.
I'll have to try and dig it up, but on like I have like a Discord server with my family just to kind of like share my experiences, keep up with them, and like
Send that.
stuff in China. But I definitely have like photos because I stayed in. Actually, that was a pretty good hotel room. It was like a Holiday Inn Express.
Fuck
They had made
not
into
bad.
a quarantine hotel.
Yeah.
And then the third week you get out, you have a yellow health code. So you can't go. You couldn't go
I remember
into like a
those
mall, or you
codes.
couldn't go into anything.
Yeah.
So basically, the old COVID health code structure was like red as you have COVID, or someone in your community had it. So you have to stay inside, or
Yellow
you're,
was like uncertain.
yellow is uncertain. You've been around a COVID case, or you're just come in and they don't know if you have it
Yeah.
or not. It's not fully clear.
We
Green
had
is
green.
You
Like
didn't get
Yeah,
tested.
yeah.
Like we got tested continuously.
No, yeah. When I was there, yeah, you still had to do daily tests. But like that week, you got to go around outside. You couldn't go to a lot of places, but you could go to like some local restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
And so that first night, I went out with some people who were onboarding with me as well in the same company, and like we went and got hot pot, and I think we spent like 300 RMB on the hot pot, and it was just massively way too much food for us. We didn't know because we're like, oh well, it's so cheap, it must be like small portions,
Yeah.
right? And the amount of food we got, I don't think we ate half of it. But like it was really good because then like even after that, like that was in Shanghai, and then they flew us down here to Shenzhen, and we had another couple of weeks before we would even. They had to process all the paperwork and make sure our visas were in order before we could even step foot in the training center, because they like everything is above board. They make sure like it's all legal before you do any teaching, before you're even allowed in your like actual office
Yeah.
you're going to be working at. So I had a little over a month to kind of adjust to things before I even started doing work.
Yeah.
That's a great thing as well. I mean, we had a month, but we were in quarantine.
Can I tell you about our like beginning of COVID experience?
Of course you can, bro.
So we were on holiday because COVID started during the holiday in China.
Yeah, it actually started like during Chinese New Year.
Yeah, which is holiday.
Yeah.
And woke up because I was like gym mad back then. So woke up every morning, went to gym. And woke up, went to gym, and I told Denise, jeez, it seems like something's wrong. Like everybody looks stressed. I literally told her that because we didn't stay far, like we lived in a building. You walked out of the building, you walked over a bridge, and you went to gym in another building. And I told her, like, everybody looks a little bit stressed. Don't you think everybody looks a little bit stressed? And
Yeah,
then she
but-
told me, like, didn't you hear there's this huge virus out or something? I'm like, no, I didn't. But I didn't pay no mind. I'm just like, because while we were here already, there were a couple of big viruses in China. And everything was okay. Like, it was just a big virus.
Swine flu.
But everybody looked a little bit stressed, like rushed. And then we went to gym, had a nice session, came back home, and as I was walking back home, I saw it looks a little bit more quiet now. And I went up, took a shower, and then I went to my balcony because we had a balcony with a good view, like of everything. I stood on the balcony and I told her, like, Denise, I think something's wrong. She said, why? I'm like, because we're in China.
There's no.
And there was
There's nobody.
Like there was one car just driving past.
And-
Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Something's going on, dude.
We had the
No,
same
and you-
experience in Korea, dude.
Yeah, you could tell the first year I was in China, whenever there was going to be a COVID lockdown, like not as many businesses were open, like a lot less people were walking the street, and you kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And we actually lived on like a pretty main road. Like it was a big road. We were up high, so
It's
it
quite
wasn't
busy.
that bothersome, but it was always busy. And there was literally just one car driving past, no people.
But even the night before, we actually walked to the gym, and I told Martin, like, everybody's wearing masks again. And I'm like, well, maybe we should just stop by the pharmacy and get some masks, because back then we would always wear masks on the subway and stuff like that, because like I said, smells in China, it assaults all your senses. So you just kind of do the mask thing on the subway to get away from the smells.
Yeah, at the start. Now I don't.
Yeah,
give a shit.
now it's fine. So we actually went into the pharmacy to get some masks, and they were all sold out. And I'm like, well, that's pretty weird, but maybe it's just like everybody traveling for Chinese New Year, you know, they're just stocking up or whatever. And then, yeah, the next morning when we went to gym again, it was just like ghost town, absolutely quiet.
And then like 3 days passed and we had a knock on the door. Somebody came there and they asked us a whole lot of questions. They stuck a fucking cotton bud so deep up my nose
I hated
it
that.
reached my
Yeah.
arsehole. They dug around a little bit and then we got this screen thing.
Yeah.
There was like So for literally like the next year and a half, everywhere we went in, before you go in there, just the mall anyway, you have to go through a procedure. Like you have to scan your phone, you have to do this, you have to do that. And then it picks up, okay, you're green. Because they asked us, like, have we ever been out? And at that point, we haven't been out of China for like a year or something.
No,
So
it was like 2.5 years.
Yeah, so we were green.
I mean, exactly the same. I mean, because Kat and I, when we were in Korea, I'm not a social media person at all. So, like, we didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
Oh, I didn't.
We
But
went to
Korea
school.
sent out Amber alerts.
Yeah, they
your
sent out
phone's always
alerts
going
and shit.
beep, beep, and like those happened all the time.
But it's not like China where you get to translate your message. Like, you couldn't, it was just in Korean, so we're like, whatever. So
Why couldn't you translate it?
Because it's not, like here, you could just click translate. It didn't have that. There was no option to just translate it. Like, you could Google Translate it, but we just ignored everything. So, like, we literally went to school. There were people, and then it was right at the end of our contract. So we were like, sick, like, let's just finish our contracts and get done. We had like 2 or 3 weeks left. We went to school. There were people. On the way home, there was fucking nobody. Bro. Like, absolutely nobody. And then we went to school the next day, nobody, and our boss was like,
Half the kids missing.
half the kids were missing, and eventually I was like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, yo, dude, there's a
There's a
global
rough
fucking
virus.
pandemic happening. And I was like, why are we at school? And she's like, no, you guys are fine. I was like, Jesus, man, you don't even know what's happening. And then, we went to SA. I remember the first day we went to SA, because we were nervous. We were like, shit, there's a pandemic happening worldwide.
Yeah.
So Catherine's mum was like, can you please take Catherine's domestic worker to the hospital? So we were like, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, we've just come from a country with COVID, and at that time, South Africa had 0 cases.
0 cases.
And we were like, we don't know.
Yeah,
We
we're
could
just gonna
be carrying.
Safe, yeah. So
Well, South
into
Africa had.
we walked into
0
the doctor's
cases.
office, and he was like, "Oh, so you oaks are going to be the carriers." And like, dude, there were people. Cause
So then you had COVID? or
no,
what?
we didn't. But we wore masks, and no one wears masks. And
Yeah.
fucking kids were running downstairs and looking at us and running away, and we were like, "Oh my god!" Like, this is like the weirdest fucking experience ever.
But that, like he said, kids were running away. That was the only time that I've ever experienced what I would maybe call racism in China. Because just because we weren't Chinese, like we would get into an elevator, and I'm not exaggerating,
Run.
and people would get out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we'd have the elevator just, and I'd be like, there's 7, 8, 9 people in the elevator, just get out.
But that was happening in America as well to Chinese people. They like businesses were doing so badly because people were literally like, anything Chinese is now being completely boycotted.
Someone had to be blamed.
Ignorance. Ignorance.
Complete ignorance.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this whole COVID thing started here.
Yeah.
And then
So why would it
us
be the
as foreigners were being like avoided like the plague, as if we brought
I took
COVID
no
here.
offense
I'm like,
to that at all. I loved having the elevator to myself. I took no offense to that.
Well,
But
technically,
it's just
for
weird.
podcast purposes, we don't actually know where it started. Like, we all have beliefs and stuff, but
yeah, but still,
Just
just
from what,
just from
media
what we
said.
read and what the media said, but we technically,
we
for
don't
podcast
know.
purposes.
Yes, look at the politicians.
But
You
still,
have to,
like,
you have to. You
it
have
was
to be careful of all of the things.
it was just a bit like, it was a bit offensive being treated like
like a
Not to me.
tape.
No,
Not to
yeah,
me.
I mean,
it was
we just-
never offensive to me. I don't care.
Go to Vietnam, that's how you treat it every day. You're a tape. They just don't even care if you have COVID or not, bro. Oaks will run out of their houses when they see a white person. Dave. And you're just like, Jesus, hello, bro. How are you? It's not the kids either, it's the fucking adults, bro. You get used to it.
We had the same thing where like we were leaving Korea and suddenly all of these flights around the world were being cancelled.
yeah.
So our parents were like, we want to move your flights earlier because we don't want you to get stuck. So let's just move your flight forward. We literally worked our last day of work and we left Korea that night. After finishing work at 6, we literally went and we grabbed our stuff, went to the airport, and we couldn't get masks as well because everywhere had sold out of masks. And now it was still such early days, but it was compulsory to wear your mask on the plane. So we were wearing our masks on the plane, and now I'm a person who struggles with allergies.
Yeah.
So I'm sneezing and sniffing and like
Those
spraying
masks
all
give
over this mask.
fucking mad allergies.
And I only have one because I could only get hold of one. So I'm sitting like on this plane. Everyone's like probably thinking, oh God,
She's got
she's
COVID.
got it. Yeah. And it was such a tense flight. Like
Yeah.
people were literally fighting with each other. We had like a kid screaming, this other guy getting up and shouting like, could you tell your kid to stop screaming?
Jesus.
And then this other like girl was like going on at some guy for pushing in front of her, and then
That
we
was
had
the
this
same fucking oak that screamed at that kid.
yeah, and then we had this
Cute.
South African girl like in the line to immigration, like loudly on her phone, swearing like, if this fucker thinks I'm gonna take an Uber. And then even during the flights, the intercom comes on and they're like, are there any doctors on board? Because we have a patient who's not doing well. And we just all sitting there like, oh my God,
Wow.
this is like the most
In the
intense
military, also
flight.
all the police come
It's
on
like
board
a
before
horror
we
movie.
exit.
Yeah, exactly. Like before we took off in Korea, and I think when we landed, people came on in hazmat suits and no, that was Vietnam.
Was that Vietnam?
Yeah, we got
that's
sprayed
rough, though.
down.
Yeah. I never had an experience like that.
It was
No,
crazy.
they did it like when we left China, like just after the lockdown was lifted and we went back to SA. That was what, 2021?
It was a brief lift because they locked
Yeah,
it
it
down
was
just
very
like that.
brief. We literally just got out in time. But when we left China that time, they also came on to the plane with like the hazmat suits,
I
and
can't remember that.
they did.
I was so tired. Our flight from China back to South Africa was like 2
long.
days.
It was so long.
2 days. And our flights were so delayed. We spent,
So
honestly, I think we spent about 12, 13 hours on a
plane.
airport. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
we
26-hour flight.
It's long, dude.
Yeah.
like
Fucking long.
our flight in total with all the layovers and stuff was just shy of 48 hours.
Wow.
So like we flew from Shenzhen to Chengdu. Then we had like this long ass layover in Chengdu. We finally boarded at like midnight. And then the plane was delayed for 2 hours because of some
That was the only time in my
asshole
life
who
that I
couldn't
stood
get
up
on the
sleeping.
plane.
I literally stood up sleeping. Like I was standing in line and I was like, and she woke me up. I was like, fuck,
Yeah,
I
like
think I slept.
everybody is waiting to board the plane, and then they're still like spraying down the plane because of COVID and everything. So you see the hazmat people coming out of the plane.
I didn't see that. I was
We
sleeping.
finally boarded, and now everybody is getting ready to actually take off, and we're still waiting for like one passenger, and our flight was literally delayed 2 hours
For that one person.
for that one
Fucking
person.
person, maybe. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you know, the worst thing about that is we left China and we couldn't sell any of our things, probably because of COVID. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
probably.
gave everything away.
Yeah.
We also
Our
just
whole
Gave
house.
everything
we just-
away. And I
yeah.
had so much.
When we
we
landed in
left our whole
Vietnam, bro,
apartment to someone as
we
well.
literally had to wear the fucking hazmat suits. So first we sit in the airport for like 3 hours trying to fucking get all everyone's visas for the flights. Then you walk out of that airport and it's hell, bro. And you have
So
to wear a
hot.
fucking hazmat suit on a bus, bro.
Oh my
3 in the
God.
morning after your
Nice.
long ass flights.
And we had
bro.
a whole bus to ourselves because we were the
Just
only
talking about
ones.
that time stresses me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we we're like way off topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back on topic though.
But yeah, so
Let's talk about the apps because I think, as I said, no one told us about Meituan, and that would have honestly changed the game.
Revolutionize your life.
It really would have. So for anyone who is coming to China, you need to have these apps, and like you will be fine.
Yeah.
Once you can use Meituan and Alipay. And even Alipay, do you know, only after months of being here did someone show me that I could order food on Alipay with translation.
What's that? Ulama.
Yeah.
Ulama.
Ulama.
Yeah.
Don't have to sit and screenshot, translate,
Very useful.
screenshot, translate, screenshot. It's great. It translates for you while you're in the app, and you get discounts.
And with both Alipay and Meituan, they're more than just delivery apps. You can you can book flights, you can book buses, hotels, order taxis. You can rent a bike. Now the bike rental, you have to like give your passport information and have a Chinese phone number. So you have to wait until you're in China to do that one. But once
Except
you
for
do that,
the blue ones, you can do the Alipay bikes.
yeah, the Meituan one, you have to like apply. It takes a couple days. They approve you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then Alipay also has WeChat has it as well, and I don't know how it works because on Alipay I have it. It has like a credit score system.
Yeah.
So like anything you do on Alipay, like once your credit score gets high enough, like if you want to, they have one thing here. Like mobile phones are so used because these apps. They have these little like cell phone chargers that you can go and rent out.
Yeah.
And at first, like if it's your first time using one of those little boxes, you have to pay like 100 kwai, and then you get it refunded when you return the thing minus whatever the time you used it for was.
What's this?
They're like phone charger boxes they have everywhere where you can go and rent the phone charger.
Luckily, I never had to do that. They fucked out that way, but I never.
But on Alipay, once your credit score is over like 550, it automatically approves you, and you don't have to pay for that charge. You just pay for the charge time when you put it back in.
Yeah. So I mean, I was just lucky. I never actually fucking got the charge thing at all.
Yeah.
It just said charge first and then pay. No, I was just never had to pay the 100 deposits.
And the great thing, like, I don't know, with WeChat, we were never able to set up WeChat with our South African cards, but Alipay worked.
Yeah.
So that's why for the first like 2 months, we just survived with Alipay because it was the only way we could pay for things.
Yeah.
And some places didn't take it, which was a bit of a thing.
Yeah, once you get WeChat Pay, you're easy.
WeChat Pay then changed the
the
game.
Yeah, when I came over here, I like first thing out of quarantine, I went to a bank and I converted all the USD I had into RMB.
You
Yeah.
have cash.
Because then I have cash. And the way people look at you in China when you pay with cash,
Yeah.
like because they expect you, like everybody uses the QR codes
We
to
did
pay.
the same thing.
So they're just like, what are you doing?
I don't have
We did
cash.
the
Yeah,
same
I don't have cash.
You're like, well,
And it was
next
so
time.
counterintuitive because in South Africa everything was cash. Everything was
Yeah,
over.
same. And in the US, like there are some places that like everywhere accepts card mostly, but
It was
like cash
either
is still
cash
king.
or tap your card.
Although, yeah, I was going to say South Africa switched over to Apple Pay now. So a lot of people are just using their phones, but it's still your card on your
Connected to
phone.
that, yeah.
Like it's like a virtual version of your card. It's not a QR code.
Just know here as the viewers, you can even pay with your fucking handprint here. Bro.
Yeah.
You can scan your fucking
Yeah, that's a new
Yeah.
thing now.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Bro. You don't even need anything.
Yeah.
You just scan your face with
And
it.
it's not-
Biometrics.
for the Christians out there, it's not 666 or something. They just take the print of your hand. Or no. Actually, what they do, I heard, or what I no, this I actually read, is they take. It's like a deep scan of the blood vessels or something because it runs different in each person. Yeah, blood vessels or
That's
muscle tissue or
advanced.
something. Yeah,
They've got some advanced shit going here, bro.
right? It's China, mama.
Because it's like, also, if you don't have your phone, this is what we were saying. We're like, if you lose your phone, you fucked.
Yeah.
Because you
Totally.
use your phone to do absolutely everything.
If you lose your phone in a taxi, you can't even get hold of the fucking taxi to bring
To
you.
be like, help me.
Yeah.
And at least with this, hey, you're not going to lose your hand, but still,
Well, you never know.
you need your phone for pretty much everything. And that's why they have these amazing little mobile power banks everywhere.
Yeah, which is what I was talking about, the little power
Yeah.
bank stations.
I love that. That's so great.
But you know what? That really sells to the necessity of having your phone in China.
Yeah.
Like in South Africa, that wouldn't work because it's not that essential to have your phone at the ready. Like, it's,
Yeah.
if your phone dies, it's okay. But over here, your phone is your lifeline. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, you need it. If it's
Yeah,
not
I
there.
mean, just something simple like
Getting fucking back home.
using the subway, right?
Yeah.
So you just scan the QR code on your phone to pay for your subway ticket, and that's basically it.
And if your phone is dead,
And
you
if your
can't.
phone is dead, you can't do that. Then you need to go through the hassle of trying to buy like a metro
And how are you
card
gonna buy it if your phone
and
is dead?
yeah, so it's this whole mission.
Your phone is everything.
Your phone is just literally everything.
And the weirdest and the best thing over here is you would think, okay, so your life is on your phone, so they would steal your phone.
They don't.
They don't.
No.
No, yeah, they won't.
Oh, and I would say, like, if you are moving to China, one of the apps you have to download, it's called Metro Man.
Oh, yeah.
It is in English. You can download the subway maps for all the cities in China that have a metro system, and Hong Kong, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's all in English, and it will tell you, you say, oh, I'm at this metro stop, and I want to get to this metro stop. And it will say, here are all the routes you can take. It'll put the fastest one first,
Yeah.
and it'll tell you how much it's going to be, how long it's going to take, like...
All the
And what I
transfers.
All the
recently
transfers,
learned,
yeah.
it gives you real time.
Yeah, it gives you real-time data.
Cat,
Okay, my pod is
my
empty.
pod is empty.
Yeah. No, Metro Man's a fucking lifesaver, bro.
Yeah, and then the one you use to pay for the metro, in Shenzhen at least, is called Guomao, I think.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
got my person to help me with.
They have it for Hong Kong as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you're traveling to any place in China, the nice thing is you just literally use Alipay or WeChat to buy
WeChat.
airtime to do anything, bro. It's
Yeah.
so easy.
I must say, like, as amazing as and convenient as the QR codes are, that is also a part of what was a struggle in the beginning, because when we first got here and all we wanted to do was go and get a coffee, and it's like we couldn't just walk up to a person and say, I want that coffee. It was like, no, you have to scan it to order.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the
Like
mini
I don't
programs.
have WeChat. Like
Yeah.
my WeChat Pay doesn't work yet. I don't have a Chinese bank card yet. I just have some cash,
That's
and I
50
just want to
RMB.
order
I
that
want a
drink.
coffee.
And they're like, yeah, well, you need to. You can't just order like.
You have,
Some
unless you
places you
speak
can.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some places you can, but for a lot of them, it's like you're not going to be able to order something unless you can scan their little barcode and pay through the app. And we were like, that's great if you have it.
Don't be
Yeah.
We don't
surprised
have it.
when you come here and fuck all speaks English.
Yeah.
Speaks English.
No, I was told this was an international city, and it's
No.
like, I mean, there are a lot of foreigners here, but the amount of Chinese people that speak English, and the thing is, if you say a little Chinese to them,
Right.
they automatically assume you're fluent in Chinese.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if you're like, oh, even if you're just like,
Cafe.
if you're like, oh, ni hao to your Didi driver, he'll start being like, oh, your Chinese is so good. Where, and this all in Chinese, he'll be like, what country are you from? How long have you been here? Like,
What's your job?
what's your job? Do you like Chinese
But like,
food?
don't you start
What
figuring
province
out-
of Chinese food do you like the most? Oh, you like spicy food? Do you prefer Sichuan or Hunan?
Yeah.
And they're gonna have a preference, and they're gonna let you know. And it's like, do you want to start like?
And then you start
Getting
figuring out a
good.
couple of these questions to answer them, and it makes it worse.
Yeah. No, it just keeps literally. That's the list I've built on. Is like these are the type of conversations I
The
have
most
Yeah.
with taxi
difficult one for
drivers.
me was just they kept asking me for a number to get into a taxi. And I was like, what
That's
fucking
another
number?
thing.
I had to ask you. I was like, what fucking number?
Oh
That
yeah,
was
the
one of
last
the
4
first
digits of your
things.
phone number.
I
Yeah.
told Denise that was one of the first things. I was like, I need to learn numbers.
Yeah.
I need to fucking learn numbers.
So if you come to China and you take a Didi, which is like an Uber, they will always use the last 4 digits of your phone number, and that is what they are checking when you
Yeah,
get
like
in the car.
confirmation kind
Yeah,
of.
they want to know that
So
you're
if
the
you know
right
1
person.
to 10, you're sorted.
But also, one is different, just so you
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah,
That's-
one in that
Right.
case, you don't
It's
say.
Chibaucho yo. It's not Chibaucho.
Yeah, you don't say yi.
Yi.
You
You
say
say
yao
yao.
in that case
Yeah.
because when it comes to like phone numbers or like apartment numbers or stuff like that,
It's
you
yao.
use yao.
For counting, it's E.
Yi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also just know that because that fucking ruined my brain for about a week. Man. Eventually, I asked Ray. I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I mean,
It's
when
like,
a guy
"Hey,
asks,
number."
like, on what floor you are, and I want, the one time I wanted to go to the second one, I was like, Lianga. It's like, huh?
the fuck is that?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
it's different.
Because that's 2 off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's-
2 has to be changed because like depending on how you use it, the word for 2, which is R, can be an insult that means dumb.
Yeah.
So you can't use it in certain things because it just be you're not
But
saying
but you can use it for that.
2
or
of something. You're like, oh, it's stupid something.
Yeah.
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 It's a confusing language.
It's very confusing.
Once you get it, it's chilled. But your first experience, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Our first day in Shenzhen was rough because the lady who came to fetch us, first they told us, we're going to take you to the hotel, drop off your stuff, then we'll go and get SIM cards and then, get some food or whatever. So I don't know what happened to that plan, but like we dropped off our stuff at the hotel, and then she was like, we're going to go meet up with some other new teachers at the Flower Village,
Nice.
and we're going to take some pictures and have some iced tea and then take you back to the hotel. So we were like, okay, we've just traveled for like, a while. We're still kind of jet lagged. But sure, why not walk around the Flower Village and take photos with
I said
other
no,
teachers?
But I was fucking dragged along.
Yeah, so we get taken to
You
this
don't have a
place,
choice.
and next thing, like, the girl who was helping us goes with us to the subway, and she's like, I think I'm just gonna like let you guys go from here. This is how you get back to your
Here's a
hotel.
screenshot.
Here's a screenshot of how you get back to your hotel.
Oh,
So I
that's-
took a picture of her
What the fuck,
phone,
dude?
and she's like, you just have to turn left, and
You go to
It's
the
not
robots,
far.
you go to the traffic lights, and you turn left,
yeah.
and you'll find it.
And she was like, it's close.
That's kind of like your direction.
But she also, no, my direction of fine. She didn't know left or right. My
It was
directions are
right.
great, bro.
It was
I
not
just don't know
left.
if you know directions at all, bro.
We were lost for 2 hours.
Oh no.
2 hours. We had no Wi-Fi, no SIM cards, no way of contacting anyone to say we are extremely lost. We've been walking around for a really
We got
long
on
time.
one of
We don't
those
know where we
fucking
are.
scooter drivers, bro, and we showed him the card because eventually I figured out that our card has a Chinese name. on it. So I showed the guy, and he drove around the block, and he's like, "Cool."
There you
I
go.
was like, "What?" And I was like, "This is not it." And he kept showing me a barcode, so I was like, "I don't fucking know which
Yeah.
one." And then we realized, oh, he wants.
We gave him some cash.
But
We-
he drove us in a fucking square, bro. I was like, "Are you kidding me, bro? You
Oh,
didn't
he was
take us in."
Popeying you.
Yeah,
We were right
yeah.
back where we started. We tried to go up to taxi drivers to be like, can you take us to this place? They all were like, no, 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 no. They, like, no one would help us. No one would talk to us. We were like, okay, surely
Where
we
was
can
this?
just connect right here in Bao'an. Surely we can just go into like the Burger King and connect to the Wi-Fi. Nope, couldn't even do that. Try to ask people, can you help us connect to the Wi-Fi? Nope,
No one
they
spoke
can't
English,
help
so
us.
they
No one
just said
spoke
no.
English. No one would help us.
Maya.
Yeah. And like eventually we found a police station and we were like, please help us. We're lost. We showed him the picture of the screenshot because at that time we still hadn't figured out the name of the hotel being on the card. But we showed him the picture and we were like, surely you can see the street names and tell us where to go. So he tried to tell us where to go. He was like, that way, 3. So we think, okay, 3 roads up that
What is
way.
that way 3, bro?
He was saying 3 and he's saying go that way. So we were like, okay, cool. And then we walked that way. We went past 3.
As we were walking, I said to Catherine, do you think it's 3 roads? Because we literally instantly crossed 3 roads.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we haven't even walked like 5 meters. He did say like 3 and was pointing like far. So I was like, I don't know if this is it. So we did turn left on the 3rd road. But it was like pretty much exactly where we were when we got dropped off. So I was like, this is not right.
Oh my God. Like, yeah. So we're walking, we're going. We try to ask people for help.
Now it's starting to get dark.
It's getting dark.
Oh no.
To add insult to injury, I was on my period. So I was like, there's no bathroom. I don't know where to go.
I need to get pausing.
I need to be in, like, I need to get back to the hotel, like, now. We're just walking and walking and walking, and it's dark, and everything looks the same, and we don't know how to contact anyone, and what are we going to do? So eventually we went back to the police station, and it had already been, like,
2 hours.
well, it was like 45 minutes to an hour since we went the first time. So we walk up to the same guy, and he just looks at us like,
Are you stupid?
what? Why are you back? Thank God there was a different guy there who could speak a bit of English. And he said to us, you have to pass 3 traffic lights, which is very different to 3 roads.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of roads in between those traffic lights. There were 3 big intersections. And it was not close.
It's far.
It was far. It was like 2 Ks away from
Jeez.
where
Tell
we
us left,
got
we're
dropped
supposed
off.
to turn right.
We were supposed to turn right. It was far. It was like, eventually we find this hotel. And I just messaged the chick. I was like, I've been lost for 2 hours. She's like,
Yeah, going on a rant.
Sorry, I probably should have
Baptism
taken you.
And she was like, "Oh, I should have just taken you." And we're like, "Yeah, you
Like,
should have."
yeah, you should have.
Like, it wouldn't have, like, you know, cost you anything to just get us. And then the next morning, Duncan has a different agency, and they're like, we're going to take you to get a SIM card. Meet us at this place. And we were like, hell no. We are not leaving this hotel without someone. You will
That
come
initial
and fetch
time in
us.
China, you're like, I'm not fucking putting my foot out.
I'm not leaving this
the same,
hotel.
bro. Jesus, like literally everything looks the
I
same.
mean, I've been here for 7 years. I still get lost. I found my way back home.
Martin, you live literally 10 minutes from me, bro. The last time you drove to my house, it took you an hour, bro.
You know how far I went?
I don't know, because it's one road, bro.
So
it's literally
far.
one fucking road, bro. You just drive
I
next
just
to the
can't
highway,
find
bro.
it. I can't find it.
Okay, so guys, unfortunately, that is it for tonight. So I think our top tips from Can on the Curb, if you're planning on coming over to China.
Meet someone like Ray, who speaks Chinese and
Yeah.
has been for years. And
Also, activate your international roaming on your SIM card before leaving South Africa.
be
Get the
fluent
apps.
in Chinese.
Download all the apps like Meituan, Alipay, Didi, all of those things. Make sure it's on your phone and set up.
VPN.
And number 3, get a VPN because it will really help with Google and translation services and everything like
And
that.
actually, number 4, I'd add, for our first off, be grateful for the experience.
Yes.
Of course.
No matter
Because
what happens.
once you do settle in, once you have got it all figured out,
fantastic.
it's amazing. It's convenient. It's efficient. It's life changing compared to probably where you're coming from. So definitely,
It does take time.
hang
but
in there.
Hang in there. Be strong.
There's good stuff
After
on
3
the other
months, it's
side.
home, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, it's that 3-month transition.
But yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks, Mama D. Thanks, Ray.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, Martinez Polinas.
See ya.
Peace out.
Leaning on a Friday, it's a friendship. You gotta crack another can and do a backflip. Trip as I'm sipping, get a good grip. We're talking life, strife, and think about the good times. When you fall from home, it can be non-stop. But crack another can and let the bumping beat drop. At the Great Wall of China or a bus stop, grab a can, curb, and think about the good times. Can on the curb.